Haven't we done this 1,000 times? We've done code reuse.
Oh, sorry, rewrite.
Rewrite the code base. Yes, I have thoughts on that.
Are they short?
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Hey guys, welcome to the Nikta and Jason show. I'm Nikta, that's Jason. Today we're going to talk about rewriting your code base. Every developer's biggest dream to just burn it all to the ground and start again from scratch. Jason, has that always been your dream as well? Do you think rewriting the code base is a great idea?
No, it's the worst idea you could possibly have.
What?
Yes.
Explain yourself. Why do you think so?
So a particular code base, right? Even if you don't necessarily agree with the way they did it or what's going on in there, has, stood the test of time. It has been vetted. There's bug fixes in that, really weird bug fixes that you couldn't possibly anticipate. They're already in there. You've done all that work. It solves a problem. There's probably problems with it, and you can use other little techniques. But if you're just saying the entire thing is suspect and we got to rewrite it all, I would turn around and walk the other way. It is setting yourself up for utter failure to rewrite your code base completely.
So then why do so many developers who I've spoken to, this relates so much to our episode on tech debt and maybe
Yes.
another episode at some point on reusable code, right? Yeah. Like, why do so many engineers always talk about, we need to rewrite this whole thing and we need to...
There's a couple of probably aspects of engineers that, tend to blind them to the bad sides of rewriting, they're like optimistic. Oh no, it's easy. I can do it. Like, they're not accounting for all the little things they don't remember or they don't realize that they've fixed already. They're going to all come back. They don't remember that when they're in the moment, and maybe they're raging about this tiny little piece and say, and then they're like, let's generalize it to the entire code base because it's all garbage. They're not familiar with the code base and they're asked to fix a couple of bugs. And so they only see a little bit of it. And then they're like extrapolating, they generalize again. And they're like, oh, this code base is garbage. They didn't fix this bug. Oh my God. I think all kinds of those things, but it's a poor deduction. They're not really thinking about it thoroughly, or they're not experienced enough. Early in my career, of course, I had the inkling to, I don't understand any of this. I gotta, it sucks. I'm gonna rewrite it. And then you do that a couple of times, and then you're like, oh shit, I rewrote it, and now I still got all these other problems. Or maybe you do the rewrite in the small. You rewrite like 5 classes or something, and you're like, oh shit, there's all kinds of bugs. Oh God, that was a massive mistake. I shouldn't have done that. What I should have done is like gone bit by bit. So it's a matter of experience. I think that you just haven't been exposed. You haven't been exposed to it before, and so then they give that advice, and they can. Engineers are good at rationalizing shit they want to do. They're smart people, right? So that tends to be why. But it's gonna fail. You're gonna fail.
You know what I've noticed is, oh my God, the thought literally just left me. Oh, I remember. Okay, so in my career, I've heard so many times that what we really need to do is we need to like rewrite this thing, or we need to move to this new tech stack, or we need to re-platform this thing, and then it's going to enable us to move faster. So the reason that you ask for something, Miss Product Manager, and then we come back and tell you that's going to take 6 weeks to do, even though it's like conceptually a pretty simple thing, is because there's all this like garbage code that we're working with.
Yeah.
So we need to make this investment right now, and things are going to slow down right now, because what you're saying, Jason, is that you're rewriting everything, and all those bugs that you already had fixed and all those little
Right.
edge cases and things that you had at one point somebody had fixed, now they're going to come up again. So you're basically spending a whole bunch of time to get right back to where you are right now.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And yeah.
But then engineers are like, okay, yes, true. It's not like we're shipping new features and solving new user problems and like maintaining our competitive advantage against our competitors or whatever. But we've done this work, and now that we've gotten back to square one, we should be able to move faster. And I have yet to see the part where we move faster. I have yet to see that in my career.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Because of the rewrite, it's this kind of monster that like you don't even see coming. Oh yeah, it's going to be new and fantastic and awesome, and we're going to move so much faster. But then, oh, what about all these problems that the current code base already solves? Well, maybe could we push them away? Can we push them back and like not solve them? Like, well, no, you can't do that. You gotta, and that's the problem. It's this like. It's watching, I want to say a train wreck in slow motion, but it's not. It's like even slower. Imagine, those steamroll things that like flatten concrete? They move super slow, right? But if you're in its way, it's going to crush you. But you can run out of its way. It's pretty slow. So imagine, the steamroller gets going and there's a guy 100 meters away. No matter how loud you're yelling, you're like, get out of the way! You're just watching this steamroller, this casualty, a year away is going to get run over by the steamroller. That's what a rewrite is. Don't ever do it. And there's no horror stories anymore either. There's no there used to be this Mozilla browser. There's Firefox, but there used to be this browser before that. It was going to kill IE, and it was called Mozilla. And they decided they'd do a ground-up rewrite. This was 20 years ago. Everyone's forgotten it. Killed them. Utterly killed them. They like lost all momentum. There used to be this big war about browsers, and it just fizzled out because they just decided to rewrite, and then IE won. But there's no similar horror stories anymore where this company decided to do this rewrite and then got killed. I don't know. It just doesn't happen anymore, or you don't hear about them.
It doesn't happen anymore. It's because we don't hear about the companies that die.
You don't hear about them. Yes, it's not that it doesn't happen anymore. It happens. It seems to happen more frequently. Like people who should know better are advocating for rewrites, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then, but I look like the crazy one because everyone else thinks
everybody thinks it's a good idea. So, and in our last minute, I want to ask you this question because you first said that it has something to do with kind of like inexperience.
Yeah.
There was a time that you were there as well.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it maybe in our episode on code reuse or something. I have to look it up. But sometimes you get these instructions from the CTO, like from the very top. It's that we're going to really invest in our code base, and we've become clunky, and the competition has caught up and exceeded us, and we're not able to go fast enough or whatever. And so I have to assume that person is not suffering from the same inexperience that the junior dev on your team is suffering from. Like, what is it that's
it's a matter of how, though. If you want to re-platform or redo whatever, yes, there's a way to do it so that you're continually rewriting little bits and you're verifying the little bits. But that's not a ground-up rewrite. That's the way to do it.
I wonder if like, does this analogy work to you, Jason? Imagine a massive 40-story condominium, and thousands of people live in it. And somebody says, oh my gosh, like the HVAC system in this condo is like garbage. We need to displace all of these thousands of people who are currently getting use out of the roof that is over their heads and paying us rent. And we need to take them all out, and then we need to knock the building over and temporarily put them in this other place, and then rebuild the building from the ground up, story by story, in order to install this new HVAC system. That doesn't have, you don't have the luxury of doing that in non-software. So why does software think that it has that luxury?
I don't know.
Figure out another way. Just figure out another way. You can do renovations. You can't demo things to the ground.
And I'm sure if you told them, no, you can't rewrite, figure out another way to do it without rewriting the entire thing. And they will come back in 2 days. I think we can do this another way. They'll have done it. You give them constraints and they will work in the constraints. That's another topic for another day. Click subscribe.